All right, continuing with our Raspberry Pi work here. One of the first things we're going to need to do is set up our hard drive with our operating system. Now, there's a variety of ways that you can do this, and you can even do it directly from the Raspberry Pi during the boot up sequence. And in a future video, when we set up our other Pi, we'll show you that. But for the moment, what we're going to do is we're going to use our PC to download it. Now, I have this little device here. This came with the Cana kit, but you can buy these separate. And they come in different forms. Some of them you plug the card in back here. Others you put it up front, and they come in different ways. In this one here, on this USB connector, you'll see that there is a slot. Go that way, it goes the other way, and it goes in this one down here. So you got to kind of fiddle with it. It can only go in one place and in one way. And there it is. It's all the way in. It's flush with this. You can't put it in backwards. That's what the keying shape is about. There's things in there to stop it from going in. So if it goes all the way in, don't jam it in. Don't press it in real hard, or you could damage it. It should slide in there nice and snug, just like that. Now what I'm going to do is hook this up to my computer. I'm going to plug it into a USB port, and then we will go in and take a look at the download of our operating system and download it onto this device so that we can boot up our Raspberry Pi. So then the easiest way to get an image onto your card that you want is to download this Raspberry Pi imager. It's a very simple program. You download it, install it, run it, and then you can choose an operating system, and you can choose your SD card to download it, and it'll simply download the operating system. This gives you a huge list, a pretty good sized list of Raspberry Pi operating systems that you can load of different kinds, and so we're going to walk through that. I've already downloaded it, so I'm not going to download it and install it here, but it's a simple install. Just click the download for Windows or download for Mac OS or for Ubuntu. Also, in Ubuntu, you can actually install this directly using apt rather than downloading it from here. So, in fact, it says that right here. To install Raspberry Pi OS, to install on Raspberry Pi OS, sudo apt install RPI imager. So maybe that's only for Raspberry Pi OS. I'll have to check that and see if it works in Ubuntu, just out of curiosity. So anyway, I'm going to close this, and I'm going to run the Raspberry Pi imager. Raspberry Pi imager. Came up on the wrong screen. So here it is. We'll simply choose an OS. So this is the most common one, probably. It's right here, Raspberry Pi OS 32-bit, a port of Debian. It's got the desktop. It's the recommended one. You can choose a whole variety of different stuff here. Other Raspberry Pi OSs, the Lite or the full Raspberry Pi OS full, a port of Debian with desktop and recommended applications, and that's the one that we're going to do on this particular disk. So then we choose the SD card. I've already installed it in a USB port, and it's this one right here, mass storage device USB 64 gigabytes. And then we just click write and click yes. It's a blank disk, so that doesn't matter, and it's writing. And it takes a goodly amount of time to write the whole image onto this. So I'm going to pause the video and come back when it's finished. So once the download is complete and it's written it to the drive, it'll go through a verification process. It doesn't take very long, but it's a good idea to let it verify it, make sure that it's good and stable. As soon as this finishes verifying, I'm going to pull this thing out, install it in the Raspberry Pi, and I will see you over there when we boot up the Raspberry Pi. Now, I will have to go through some configuration stuff before I can record it from my computer. I got to set up the networking. So, but I'll get that all set up, and then we will take a tour of the Raspberry Pi operating system and see how things look. So I'll see you back in just a flash. Okay, and here we are in the Raspberry Pi. It's doing some updates now. Let me set this to full screen. Where is it? There it is. It's just downloading some updates now. As soon as the updates get done, we'll get in here and we will start installing some software and getting some things to work and getting some things prepped to be able to do some software that talks to physical hardware via the GPIO pins on this board. So I'll see you back here in a few minutes. And just like that, we're back. All the updates are done and everything's looking really good. So the first thing we want to do here is, well, let's take a look at the menu and see what we've got installed. There's a bunch of various kinds of stuff for software development installed here. You can take a look at that on your own if you download this operating system. We've got the LibreOffice suite. We've got an Explorer, of course. This is Chromium web browser. Some stuff for sound and video, an image viewer. There's a few games. Don't know how good they are. I've never played them. For accessories here, we got the usual stuff, your terminal, your task manager, and so forth. What we're going to do right now is bring up a terminal. I don't like the built-in terminal. If you've watched my other Linux-based systems, I prefer to use a terminal called Terminator. So we'll install that right now. We're going to use sudo apt install Terminator. This is just about the first thing I always install on a new Linux system because it's a really superior terminal program, and it's really nice to use for a lot of reasons. I like to be able to have multiple terminal windows all in a single window that I can hide and show as needed without having to fudge around with multiple terminal separate windows. So we can bring that up right now. There's Terminator, and we can get rid of this one. And now installing some other software possibly. This is one of the reasons I like Terminator a great deal. Now I have three terminal windows all in one window, all nice and neat and clean. Plus I can make these bigger so that you guys can read what I'm typing a little more easily on the screen with the video, because I know real small type on a computer screen can be hard to see on a video. So one of the things that we're going to want is a way to talk to the general purpose I/O pins on our screen. That's part of the software development that we're going to be doing. We're also going to need other software development tools. So I'll show you here. At the same time I'm doing this, I'm going to show you how you can easily and quickly find out how to install these various things on the Raspberry Pi. It's pretty much similar to Ubuntu or anything on Debian, but sometimes there's slight differences. So the best thing to do is look up Raspberry Pi. Oops. Install GNU GCC dev environment, something like that. How to install GNU C++ development tools on Raspberry Pi. Well, that's definitely what we're going to want. We're going to use some C++ in here. And this is a little forum, it looks like. We look through here, and this looks like yeah, there's Build Essential. That's really not probably the best place to find out this kind of thing. There's a video on doing it. So maybe I should, on my video, show you a video of how to do this. This is probably a good one right here. So what we'll do is we'll do a little a nice little thing here. We'll no, we'll do this one. We'll make it a little bit smaller. this way. And what we want to do is do an update and an upgrade, but I've actually already done that in the installation process, but we can run it real quick here and see what happens. We'll just paste that in a little quicker and easier. And see. So everything looks good there. We're going to want Git because that's what I use for a repository, so we'll install that next. So this looks like it's a really good page for doing this. It's got, what the heck happened here? I did not want that. I don't know how that happened. Okay, here we are. So this looks like it's a really good page, this particular URL. You can find it on Google, or I can, so there, Git's installed. You can find that on Google, or I can put it in. This is asking you to clone from Bitbucket the GCC binary. You shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to do any of that. So maybe this isn't the best one. This looks like it's kind of old, perhaps. Let's see if we can find something else. GCC toolchain remedial education toolchain. Well, anyway, what we're going to do is go sudo apt install, and I believe it's GCC build essentials. It's probably pretty much the same thing as Ubuntu, so yeah, it's build essential. And if you want the man pages, you can install those also. So it's just build dash essential. Okay. That's already the newest version, so this already came with GCC installed, so that's good. There, that's good. So we've got Git installed, and we've got GCC installed. So the next thing that we're going to need, let me go to Google here. Is we're going to need a way to talk to the Raspberry Pi. Now, let's look something up first. Let's look up so if you look at the GPIO, these are the general purpose IO pins here. You will find that they talk about using a particular library to talk to this. And let's see if it's there. Nope. I use a different, that's Python. You can use Python to program in this too. We can install Python in here. Maybe we'll take a look at that some. Wiring Pi API. Now the thing about the Wiring Pi API is, so it comes installed in here. This is a Raspberry Pi 4. Let's look up, let's go back to Google. Let's look up Wiring Pi on GitHub. And I'll show you something that's kind of important here. wiring Pi. Come on, come on, come on. Here we go. Oh, this is the unofficial wiring Pi mirror. With the end of official development, yeah. So I was hoping that that was going to be the official one. Unofficial wiring Pi. Maybe it's not even here anymore. Gordon's Arduino wiring Pi. There we go. That's another unofficial one. Anyway, the whole idea is wiring Pi is basically deprecated. There might be some updates in some other versions of it here, but I happen to know of a really good one. I'm going to show you that right now. Let's go back to, we're on GitHub here. Let's go to the main GitHub. No, I want to do that. I want to go to GitHub. I don't want to sign in. Okay, let's just go to I don't know why they have to do this. Why can't they just give me the GitHub page so I can search something? Okay, PIGPIO on GitHub. We're going to have to download and build this. But here's this. Pi GPIO, or PigPIO. I think Pi GPIO probably stands better. Sounds better than PigPIO. So let's go to that on GitHub. This is a really good framework, and for talking to the GPIO stuff, and it's maintained well, and it's very much up to date. So let's go ahead and clone it. We'll make this the first thing that we kind of build. We'll copy this. Now I'm going to make a folder here. I'm going to call lib. This is where we're going to build libraries that we use throughout the process here. So let's do git clone, and then we'll use that and make sure we can build this, and then we can use this library to talk to our GPIO pins very easily. Uses CMake, so we're going to do a make dir build, cd build, and then CMake ... sudo apt install CMake. I knew there was something that I needed to install yet, and it was CMake. And then in a very future video here, very soon, hopefully, we'll make maybe a LED blinker app or something, and we'll talk to it. We'll use some C++ to do that, possibly even some Python. We'll see what we can do. And so now we go CMake ... and then make. And I don't think this should take too long to build. There it is. So now we have that, and now we should be able to do make install, sudo make install, see where it's going to install it to, and copying that to build live. Oh, so it put it locally here. Where did it install it to? I guess it just installed it right here locally. Probably because we have to go cmake minus prefix equals slant. We'll put it in slant user slant lib. And we'll do a make real quick. Then we'll do sudo make install. See if it's going to install it in the right place. Oh, user local include and user local lib is where it put it to, I guess. Huh, why didn't it do that before? Or did I miss something? Okay. Okay. ls slant user slant local slant lib slant lib pi star. There it is, lib pi gpio.so. Perfect. Okay, so that's all installed. And now in the next video, so we've got a development environment, we have Git set up, and in the next video we will hook up some wires, and we will make some LEDs flash. And I will show you that. I'll show you the code, and I'll show you the LED flashing when it runs, and maybe we'll make it flash out something interesting, Morse code or something. That might be interesting to do, dashes and dots. We can have a long flash and a short flash and pauses in between. Well, set up something interesting rather than just a usual blink code. So anyway, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked it, hit that like button. If you really liked it, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.